Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am conflicted to some sorts as far as gathering all the information today, being a big believer in the 10th Amendment and making sure that we continue to operate with the individual liberty that the states so guide us to do so, or that our founding fathers guide us to do so. I am concerned about some of the statistics that I'm running across in the past in doing some work, maybe some of our poor communities, if you will, even some of the minority communities. I was alarmed to find out that nearly 40% of all online gamblers make less than $50,000. In fact, 14% makes less than $25,000. Are you aware of those statistics? Any of you gentlemen, have you done enough? Or are you just now hearing that? Okay. 54% of all online gamblers are minorities, which obviously should cause us some concern because many of these wonderful people live in some of these poor communities. So I struggle with this, and I've got a couple questions I want to get to, but I do want to lay something out in my time here that's allotted to Mr. Lepparelli. Several news sources have noted Senator Harry Reid's attempt to place a provision in the omnibus in the spending bill that would bail Caesars Casino out of bankruptcy. Others have also reported on Caesars' need for more states to authorize Internet gambling so that Caesars can get more players on its New Jersey site. So the question is, so with the modified interpretation of the Wire Act, is this what we're talking about? I guess the bottom line question is, are we talking about helping bail out an unprofitable casino?
Thank you for the question, Mr. Walker. The interpretation of the Wire Act has been a question before 2011, and it remains a question now. That is one of the areas in all forms of gaming development where that question constantly is brought to the table. You have a situation now where you have old law that hasn't kept up with innovation. So the question of that, I think, is irrelevant to anything relating to any one company's ambitions. That interpretation of the Wire Act is the same interpretation today as it was yesterday, as it was in 2009, as it was in 2001 when we passed our law.
You may be correct. Time will tell. I can't imagine that Senator Reid would try to do that into the omnibus, but we'll see how that works out. Mr. Campbell, is there a federal agency that has the resources and personnel necessary to police a patchwork of state Internet gambling regulatory regimes, protect states that do not permit Internet gambling, and prevent the use of Internet casinos and lotteries for monies that are laundered or other criminal activities? Any information that you could speak to that?
Well, again, I think I would hearken back to statements earlier about the importance of the federal agencies, including the FBI, working with state and local agencies to identify where this illegal activity is occurring and combining resources to do so. I think a couple of cases that demonstrate effectiveness in that area, the Legends Sports case out of Oklahoma, which was a 10-year illegal gambling activity, over $1 billion victimizing Americans involved in sports betting, and then also the Full Tilt poker sports case as well, where there was a seizure of over $500 million related to that as well. And of course, there were international ties to those cases. So I think it's important that regardless of the landscape where the threat occurs and where illegal activity is occurring by whatever individuals or organizations, it needs to be a combined effort by many agencies to target that threat.
Okay, let me follow up. In your earlier testimony, I believe you mentioned something about the FBI may have an investigation involving online gambling and terrorism. Piqued my interest. So would you mind unpacking a little bit more about that case to the committee, of whatever you can share, and why the FBI may be looking into such matters?
Right, and we can provide you some more specifics on that in future, but that was an investigation involving an individual that was providing monetary support, and one of the methods for that was money laundering through online gambling. And so in regard to that particular threat, as the FBI pursues investigations and we're targeting our top threats, which could be within terrorism or transnational organized crime, we look for whatever tools those bad guys essentially are utilizing that can help promote their criminal activity to hurt Americans. So it certainly is a priority for us.
I'd like to have more time. My time has expired. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
Thank you, Mr. Walker.